Welcome to the ratio. We are here today with Mr. David Rey.
Yes, what you saying, boys? What's good?
What's good, man? It's good.
As well, Roesh. I know you want some light.
Yeah, of course, man. You want some light, man. Yeah, man. My name's DJ Roesh. It's a ratio show, of course. My guy Sam Hack.
Bossman, while Bossman's in there quick,
So,
man. He's gonna run out of light in it. Look, he's gone.
Bangs. What you saying, Bangs?
Yeah. What you saying?
BG Boogie when you're in there, don't it?
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the ratio for another week. We've got a colossal show ahead of you today. We've got a big all-star draft of Manchester artists from 2019 coming through. David Rey, you're going to spit on there for us as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
You brought that fire for us.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
To be honest, that's a bit of a calm intro, and like this is the only place where I can explode without there being controversy, yeah, bro. So let me start with a explosive question, bro. Do you think Michael Jackson was a pedo?
Sam is always coming with I didn't even
Always, bro.
Listen, yeah, I have no heads up with these questions either, so you know.
Everyone's got an
just letting
opinion
you know.
on this, bro.
You know what? Yeah, you know.
Got his age beforehand, so I know he's got the lowdown on it all as well. Yeah. Come, bro.
You know what? I'm a big MJ fan, so
I like it.
So it's like I don't want to believe it personally, so I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
But like,
Is that your head or your heart?
that's like,
Genuinely, yeah.
you know what? In my heart, I feel like he didn't do it. The only reason I say that is because like the media's quick to try and vilify a person.
100%,
You
brother.
know what I'm saying? Depending on what agenda they've got. So it's like, I hear that, you know what I mean? Like there were a lot of kids in the crib and whatnot, and he had that funfair thing, Neverland thing and whatnot. And if you think about the way you grew up and that, like he didn't have.
All the maths is there for it.
Yeah,
to be
obviously he
suggested,
didn't have a
innit?
childhood,
Yeah.
so like obviously that sort of caught up with him,
that
innit?
right there, though, is what confuses me when people say he didn't have a childhood. Like that don't mean that he's gonna try and make love to children and do things.
Exactly,
to children,
that's
you
what I'm
get
saying. Like
That
so,
means he wants to, like,
yeah, those
run
years
around
caught
and
up with
have
him,
water
innit?
fights and stuff, you
Yeah,
get
they
me?
caught
Like,
up with him. So
my
it's
only
fine.
other opinion on that I've got to add to it, yeah, like even with this that Epstein guy or whatever. All of these people that were pointing the finger at him, we've got to get a serious point in there. But all of these people that were pointing the finger at him, they're more likely the people that were doing it. That's all I'm going to say. Like,
Yeah.
this guy, you get me? Like, why are they going to come at this guy? And I've got to say, this is probably one person for me that did pure for children. Did endless things for children. Do you know what I'm saying? And, so what do you think, bro?
I was just
We
gonna
might
say
get
the
them
same
involved.
thing. Like people are always quick to point the finger, innit? Very quick.
100%, yeah.
But yeah, as like David Rey says, I'm a big MJ fan, man, and like it'd be hard to believe, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I've
but
seen. I've just
I
noticed.
wouldn't. At the moment, I can't believe it anyway, so I'm gonna stick with no. But it'd be hard to believe.
What about you? What you saying?
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it.
I
innit,
didn't
bro?
do
It's
it.
innocent,
No.
bro.
Why make a video, yeah?
That's what I
There's two
mean.
documentaries called Finding Neverland, yeah. Why did they make the two videos when he died? Why didn't they make
Nah,
the videos,
true,
yeah?
true,
When,
trust
you know
me.
what I mean?
For real.
Right.
And another thing, I've read his book. Yeah, sorry to go on about last thing was saying it, but I've read his book. Yeah, and the guy loved attention. He knew how to get attention from the whole media. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he went in the gas tank and that himself. He bought the Elephant Man's bones himself. He did all of that because he knew the attention that he'd get from it. So he's a master of that. Do you know what I mean? So anything we're speaking about of him, the guy's probably in his grave. He and now. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, he's chilling in life. So yes.
yeah.
Well, that's the daftness out the way. That's something out the way. So now let's get into the actual interview, my brother. What have you got for David?
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, obviously, first of all, a thing that I liked was obviously that you're from Manchester yourself. Your management's from Manchester. So how did that go around? Because obviously, a lot of people, I don't know if it's to find it hard or because there's not a lot of opportunity. But a lot of artists from Manchester always kind of seek for management and labels outside of Manchester.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that you've kept it chill,
Yeah,
0161,
authentic, innit?
and
Yeah.
often, and obviously with it being Mic Check Media, they've got a big hold on the scene. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, for real.
tell us about that.
Yeah, so like obviously you might hear the London twang in my voice as well.
Yeah,
We'll get into that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so the way it works is for me, like obviously I started my music thing in Manchester
Yeah,
and all of that. So it's like, and I believe in the city. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I believe that the city's got a lot to offer.
Yeah.
So it's like, and the way I saw it is that there's a lot of artists around me. And you know what I mean, it's an open field in terms of the Manchester scene. Like for example, London's quite saturated, and you get a lot of like gimmicky guys coming through and copycats copying someone that's a bit more established and whatnot. But Manchester's an open field. There's literally not that many prominent guys. Obviously guys are starting to break through, but
of course.
you know what I mean, everyone can take what they want from it right now. So it's like I don't need to look beyond Manchester at the moment when there's so much available. Do you know what I mean? Like so
You don't need to reach outside for what you've got on your doorstep.
exactly,
really,
you know what I'm saying? So it's just about knowing where to look. And sometimes a lot of people have opportunities right in front of them, but because it's not got all the glitter on it, like they think it's not of any value. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like people, do you know what I'm saying? They complain and be like, oh, there's nothing happening around me and rare tear, but there's loads happening. You're just not tuned in enough, or you probably don't want it enough. That's probably what I would say to that. But yeah, no, it don't make sense to go outside of Manchester right now, for real.
How long have you been at it musically, bro? Like, even just with your platform, with everything being on Spotify, everything that I've listened to recently, how long have you been at it?
So officially, I remember the moment officially when I was like, music is me, and that was like April 2016. So just
that,
I know the exact month. I know the exact month, and like and the year, because it was like it was a turbulent time in my life.
With his girl and started writing.
You're not too far off the mark as well. But you know what? Yeah, it was a turbulent time, innit? So yeah, like that's why I remember that period quite well. And then like I was like, yeah, music is me from there. And then 3.5 years later, we're here.
No, it's good. It's good. So go on, let me get into where's the London accent come from, right? Like,
all right.
How much of you is London? How much is money?
So it's like it's nearly half and half, to be fair. I came up to Manchester when I was like 14.
Okay, so you did a lot of your years in London then.
Yeah, I was born there. So I was born there, Southeast London. Grew up in Bermondsey, Peckham. Then moved up to Manchester like at the start of year 9 or year 10. Start of year 10.
Years you come up here, okay.
Yeah, start of year 10.
Culture difference, that a bit.
Yeah, it was a culture shock. I was so.
What high school did you go?
Here in Manchester.
Yeah, Manchester.
Loretto High School. Used to be called St. Thomas Aquinas.
So yeah.
So that's where I went. I only did year 11 there, but yeah, that's where it comes from. So, and I went back down south. So I did year 11 and 2 years of college, and then I went back down south to Southampton, and I did university. So that's why there's still a bit of a southernness in my voice.
Yeah. I mean, I can hear uniqueness in you when I listen to your flowing, but I put that down to your flow, to be honest. I didn't notice the accent, I'll be honest. I didn't pay attention to it, when I listen to the music.
Cool,
and I was just
it's something
flow,
I didn't really pick. I'm only picking on it up more now that I'm actually having a conversation with you, innit? Yeah. It's a good thing though. Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
It helps me to stand out, I guess. It helps. But the Mancunian's still in there, so it's like a hybrid.
In London, you sound like a man. When you're a man, you sound like
I just don't even know where to stand.
Nah, I hear that. But
yeah, so obviously one of your tunes you sent us a couple of months ago. It's called Rebore.
Yeah.
Now, obviously there's a couple of meanings behind the word Rebore, innit? So I wanted to get sort of like, first of all, what's the inspiration behind the track and your meaning of Rebore, obviously?
To be honest, the track, the inspiration came from the beat. So it was just like the beat was just bouncy and bubbly, and like.
Who produced it?
One of my boys, Sean Beats. He's part of a label that we've got, Groundwork Recordings. Okay. So he's a producer on the label. So he produced that beat, and obviously I heard the beat, it was bubbly and that, and bouncy and that, and then at the time I was feeling myself for whatever reason. As you do, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just the hottest in the world right now.
That's to write, bro.
Yeah, so exactly. So I was just like, yeah, man. Like,
or ultimately depressed, one or the other will get you ahead.
Yeah, you know what? The best music comes from the emotions, innit? Yeah. So at that time I was feeling myself, so I was right into it. And obviously, like, when I say Rebore, it's like, cause obviously like a Rebore is like a fake gun, if you like, so I was alluding to like a next man trying to shoot his shot with a girl, and it don't bang, you got a Rebore, you know what I'm saying? Your thing's not official, you know what I'm saying? So
clever guy. I'll be honest, even when I thought of the question at the beginning, I thought I'm going to give him a question that'll give him at least an answer to think about, because I can tell he's a thinker, you get me? You can see that in Rebore, you know? So which song's got the lyric in it? I heard one today where you wear fear a lot. I smell fear, you wear
big pimpin', appreciate
it. Should get into Rebore now.
Yeah, I think we're going to get that one.
Let the DJ spin it.
Go on, Banks. You get it?
He's struggling. I think the DJ. Send the DJ, bro. Send the DJ.
I don't know where it is.
Nah, it's all right. We'll be back soon with more from David Rey. This one's Rebore from David Rey. When did you write this one, brother?
About last year.
I wrote it last year. Come out this year. And the production you said was by who?
Sean Beats. Sean.
Where are they from? Do you know?
From Manchester as well.
I like it, bro. So you kept it all homegrown. That's what we want to hear. We're getting into this one now, DJ. We ready? Let's do this. Rebore.
Man tried it still.
Yes, we're back, man. After that tune, Rebore, big tune. That man, I like that tune. Man.
So it's nothing to do with the strap then as well. That's
no,
the best part about it. Intellect, bro. I like it. But yeah, can we just big up Jamaica Way one time, rapid? Man like La Boons who just walked in the venue. He's patting down with his Jamaica Way there. There we go. There we go. You got yours as well, didn't you, bro? Did you enjoy that?
What did you get today?
It was like a jerk bagel, wasn't it, with cheese? Yeah. I can't lie, it went down still, went down.
Yeah,
that was nice. It was nice.
You enjoy it, yeah. And then we've got bomb
still.
baits in the gaff as well. We got them sorting him out.
Yeah, I'm yet to sample that still.
Yeah, did you sample it?
Not yet.
Okay. So bro, I wanted to get into, like, I've heard you done a big massive show recently, and you've got a big show coming up. So we'll go into the one that you've just done recently. Was that in Liverpool?
Yeah, Liverpool.
I'm hearing that you took a bag load, like Conor McGregor turned up to Khabib. I heard you turned up with a coach load of them, man, bro.
Yeah. It was decent. Still was a group called Careless Events, and based in Liverpool. They put on an event there, so and management gave me the shout. We went down with Gillian D. Wayne. Big up to shout outs to them, man, and the 1-6 Wave gang. So
I played his tune earlier with him, and you and him, and got a tune in it.
Yeah. South Money Stamp. Yeah. Appreciate you. Yeah, so that's out as well. So obviously they got the whole team down. We got our team down, and it was just like a bag of man, like 50 odd men. So it's
down there,
yeah, like went down and shut the place down.
In fact, let me ask you this. Sorry to get off music for a second, but in Liverpool, did they think you're from Manchester or London?
Do you know what? Like I was very, very waved. So
you don't even care.
I don't even remember that many conversations that I had. I was just all over the gaff. But yeah, no, I think I don't even know what they think, but they knew we were from Manchester though. I don't know what they thought of me though.
It, bro.
Yeah. Facts.
I'm like saying that you went to Liverpool and did your thing down there, bro, because Liverpool's a big city, bro, for music, innit?
Yeah,
you've got a big
city,
history
man.
of music, bro. No, it's good, man.
In a big city. So in terms of like the performance, how was that for you, and how was the crowd for you? Because I know Liverpool people are crazy, man.
Yeah, you know what? The energy was insane. It was insane. Yeah, like so, I always perform with a lot of energy anyway, and you know. So far so good, like the crowd always responds to that and they give it back to me, and you know what I mean, so we just feed off each other's energy. So in Liverpool it was the same, energy was high, vibe was good,
it's always
performance went down, exactly, yeah, man.
So obviously you've got another show coming up soon as well. Sam just mentioned that. Is that
Boxing Day, I believe it
Boxing
is,
Day?
Yeah.
Big time to do an event, bro.
So that's the Mic Check events. That's
the management crew right there.
Yeah. Mic Check Media. So they got events that they put on every so often, and the next one is in Boxing. There was one on Halloween special.
Just about to say that.
I'm
gonna blame Sam for that.
You know what? I never dressed up in my life, bro. I was gonna dress up for that one. You know, I would have come up Bane and everything, man.
It
looked like a shout, man. It looked good, bro. It looked real good.
So yeah, next one's in December, Boxing Day. It's
Where's
gonna be
plug the event, bro.
Atma, that's in Stevenson Square. It's at Northern Quarter. So yeah, get down on Boxing Day. I think doors open from about 7-8 thereabouts.
Right. What time's it until?
It's until late, so it's gonna be till 12.
Finish at 12.
Yeah.
Because it's the Christmas period. We've caught it for an extra 2 hours.
Okay.
All the eyes can celebrate together.
So there you go. So the after party is at the party.
Yeah.
I like that. The party, yeah.
Who else is performing?
It's gonna be Valtini, J.E. or Jace, Primo, Laboons.
Do the noise for us, Laboons. There we go.
Yeah. So it's gonna be quite a lot of heads. K Remy as well.
It's a big lineup. I noticed that you got a lot of people in it.
Primo. Yeah. So there's gonna be a lot of artists there, and it should be a wave. So therefore, come down, you guys. Make sure. No one
else to be on Boxing Day, boys. Make sure you're there, and girls, obviously.
Females, please.
Come on.
Make your way down.
So I guess I wanted to ask you another question, bro, because I was just saying, like, getting a lot of Manchester MCs and growing up in this day and age, like, it's more grime, it's more them type of flows, innit? But I get the old school feel from you, like rap and hip hop and that. You get me? So like even your music, like I say, is well thought through. You not just put your pen to paper and just roll. You've definitely thought about the things you want to say. You thought about the message you want to get across. So guess what? I'd ask you, like, how did you get into music and who are your influences in your styles of writing and that?
In terms of, I got into music a long time ago. I was like probably like year 7. Like I just used to write songs and stuff like that. Like not even to beats though. They were just actual songs that I would make up in my head. So it's just like, in terms of where I went from there, I just I used to go to a studio in my school. So, and that was in London.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, that was in London.
That's what London is good for. Stuff like that facilities, innit?
Yeah. My school was quite big in London as well, so it had a studio facility. And then, like from there, I used to write tracks. Obviously, we used to spit in the playground and that. And then the man them used to say like I was hard, and then that guy was hard, but my name always used to get mentioned in it. And then, but I never really took it seriously. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and then life just happened. You know what I mean? Moved to Manchester and whatnot. Music was never something I thought I was gonna go and do properly, even though I used to dream about it and stuff. But it was whatever. I was chasing football, and that never worked out. And then so, yeah, like.
You're another brother from the block who broke the knee.
Yeah, bro.
I was about to say, you know,
it's mad, yeah. It's mad. 'Cause my uncle's done him right now. My uncle done him right now.
For United, didn't it, G?
Yeah, the way my uncle's set up, bro, it's mad. But yeah, so obviously then I got a job after uni. That didn't go well. And then like while that was all going sour for me, it sort of like led me back towards the mic.
Yeah. Give you more to talk about.
Yeah, it gave me a lot more to talk about and whatnot. And then since then I ain't really looked back. So
yeah.
Just want to keep moving forward with it.
Nice. Like I say, the sound that you're bringing through now, bro. Well, I'm sorry, forgive me for this, but I don't know you from years and years back. Do you know what I'm saying? I've got onto it now, and the sound that I am hearing now, bro. When I press play, I can moan me, bro. You get me? Like, I can moan and moan.
You can as well, you know,
like,
bro. You can,
like,
bro.
shut up, bro. I'll stop moaning you now. Nah, but I can moan you, get me? Like, but I press play, bro, and I just got into it straight away. Do you know what I mean? And I even paused it and came back to it and listened to that song again. I think it was In the Field, so I do want to get into In the Field in a second.
I was just about to say, what's the inspiration behind the In the Field track?
Oh yeah,
really feeling that, man.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. To be honest, it was just a spontaneous moment. Again, that was made by Sean as well. He made that beat as well, so that was just.
We need to get onto this guy because
he's slightly slept on, but with time, everyone come to the forefront. But yeah, that track was just how I was feeling at the time. I don't even know, because sometimes you don't know what you're feeling until you start writing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
of course, yeah.
Like you write. Sometimes I'll be writing.
And the beat can tell you what to write sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then when I'm reading back what I've read, I'll be like, raw, is that how I'm feeling? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is that raw? Is that what I'm feeling like? I'm like, okay. So sometimes it's therapeutic when you're writing, because like you don't know how you're feeling exactly.
You're doing it for a purpose, aren't you, bro?
Yeah.
We're going to get into the purpose after this. We'll get into the purpose after the next chapter, yeah? So I think we're getting to In the Field right now. DJ Boogie. Reactive.
Yes, welcome back to the Ratio Show. This is Pirate Radio. Myself, DJ Roesh.
The big pimpin' summer. Yeah. I like that song. I like that one. Man, like BG Boogie. Let me get straight into that though. But is that big pimpin' anywhere from Jay-Z?
No.
DJ Boogie, you get me? Yes.
No. It's just something that I came up with just because of what I wrote to the track. It's just
nothing to do with Jay-Z.
Nothing to do with Jay-Z. Obviously, I can understand why people make that connection.
Straight away.
And I sort of, after I called it Big Pimpin', I sort of realized people might think it's to do with Jay-Z, and I like that, so I thought it might make people want to click it even more in it. So
I was just saying to him off air then, like the beat kind of and the flow that he was giving was kind of remind me of like one of them smooth kind of gigs tracks. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
innit? Like it's mature, man.
It's musical for me. You get me? Like an artist, bro. You get what I'm saying? And I guess now that we brought up Jay-Z, like, do you have any influences from the 90s era, bro?
Yeah. So loads. Like obviously, you got your Tupac, Biggie. Jay-Z,
Busy Bone as well, Busy Bone.
Busy Bone. J. Cole, Rick Ross. You got Rich 32, Skepta.
Could you name your outright top 5 hip hop dead or alive? No, rapid. Without too much thought.
Put him on the spot again, Sam.
It's a hard one. Obviously, you got like. There's. I can't even put 5 guys in there because it's like. I got Nipsey Hussle. I got Tupac. There's J. Cole. There's Kendrick. There's Rick Ross. But then that's like the American section. Like then I got the UK guys. I got like Rich.
I don't think I've ever thought like, you know what's actually mad, this being from a hip hop generation like group on that, I've never ever thought of bringing British guys into my top 5 hip hop dead or alive. You know, straight away it's Tupac, Big Eminem, Jay-Z. You know what I mean? It's just straight away just gets filled out.
You know what it is though? Like I feel like you gotta pay homage to set guys now. Like they've been doing it for too long, and the thing is, like, for example, if Wretch was American, it'd be global. Do you know what I'm saying? If he was American, it would be undeniable.
Wretch's lyrical ability is up there with a lot.
He's better than a majority of American guys. So like for me, Wretch is up there, Chip is up there, Skepta, you got Gets. Blade Brown and Young's Teflon and Scraps. Like there's a lot of mad variety it gets me in the zone still.
Did you, didn't it, bro? It came out with you in the end, didn't it? All of this music, man. I like it, bro.
Yeah.
Speaking about Blade Brown, you listen to his new EP.
Bags and Boxes 4.
Yeah, 4, man.
Yeah, do you know what? I can't lie. I'm feeling it.
It's good, innit?
I'm feeling it. I can't lie, but it's not gonna top 1 and 2 for me.
I'll be honest, I'm new to Blade Brown. Yeah, I just heard a freestyle that you put me onto, innit, bro?
Yes.
Like, so what should I start with?
Definitely.
1 and 2?
Yeah, 1 and 2 are classics.
Okay.
Then he's got a project with Gigs as well. Holler meets Blade. That's a serious classic.
That sounds like the one I'll start at, to be honest.
Serious banger. Yeah, so like those are like OGs, and like I was a younger when them man were probably at my stage. You know what I'm saying?
Is he from Peckham and that?
Gigs is, yeah. Blade, I think Blade's from South as well. I think he might be from. I'm pretty sure he's from South as well. So yeah, so it's like I was a younger when them man were on the come up, if you like, or when they were actually on the road doing their thing, but just putting music out on the side. Those are the tracks we were listening to on our phones and stuff like that. So those are big influences.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you can see it in. Do you produce it all? Yeah, you can see the influence of them as artists on you. Yeah, but what production-wise, you produce anything at all?
No, I don't produce anything, but my influences do like obviously sort of dictate like what sort of beat I'll choose. Like obviously I'm always open to something new, something I ain't heard before. I'm open to experiment. But then if it's like I got to choose a beat to make a track that I'm comfortable with, like my influences would lead me to something that I could hear Wretch on, or if I could hear Rick Ross on this, or could I hear Skepta on this? It's like
I hear that.
If I could hear them man on it, I could probably hear myself on it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
it gives you more, pushes
you
you a bit more sometimes.
Yeah.
Before Roesh gets into the next question, I guess one other random question for you is like, besides like the obvious R&B, hip hop, rap music, like what's your favorite other type of like an artist from somewhere else? Like a unique one that we won't expect from you.
Like a wild card.
Oh, you know what?
I don't want to say who it really is.
No. Obviously, I'm a heavy R&B fan. Do you know what I'm saying? I do like a lot of R&B, but also like
Justin Bieber. No joke.
Not even Justin Bieber. You know what? I like that Phil Collins track. Is it In the Air? Phil Collins. That's a banger. And there's
that track.
It's not R&B. No. Do you know what? It's obviously they say wild card, innit? They say wild card, innit? So like obviously like I feel like R&B sort of like is like related to hip hop some way, like the loose relatives. But
trying to get as far from the relatives.
Obviously, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like the neighbor down the road over there. Like Phil Collins, he's pretty cool.
Phil Collins.
But there's a couple other tracks that I listen to for sampling purposes. I do. You would find a lot of random songs like that I've listened to on my like playlist and stuff. That's only because like if I'm listening for a sampling opportunity, like just
you need influence. All of these guys were musicians at the end of the day, bro. And sometimes you go up in certain places, you think that you can't learn nothing from them and that, but they're all musicians, innit, bro? You know
even like if you take it back old school, like sometimes I might listen to a bit of Sam Cooke or something like that.
Trust me, man.
You know what I mean, like some soulful, like unfiltered, just pure
best
talent.
Music
like, you know what I'm saying? So
from the times that it was coming, it was authentic when I feel. Whereas you know what I mean, now it's more show, innit? You know what I mean?
Exactly. So there's a few random guys. Well, I won't say random, but in terms of my line of music to what they make, it
seem a bit random.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a bit of a Motown look though, if I'm honest. Put something on in the background. You'll fit right in.
Aretha Franklin.
It's a smart look, bro. It's a very, very smart look.
Appreciate.
Hopefully that's not even taken in the wrong way.
No, not even. I'm like, obviously I'm an old soul, and I like to think anyway.
That's the best way, bro.
Yeah.
And so for me, basically, I was gonna ask you about your EP. So obviously, if people have been listening to the show, obviously at home on the phone or whatever. Obviously, the first 3 tracks that we played, like we said, were quite smooth, quite mature. And then we played that last track, Sit Down.
Yeah.
And even I just heard that, and then I was like, yo, like this guy's got another flow, and obviously
Sit Down.
Sit Down. Like it got me hype in it. So it's obviously good to see that you can, you've got varied music, you can do different styles. So obviously on the EP, what can we expect?
Yeah, like so, the EP is coming out next year. Not got a specific release date yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can expect more of the same, just a lot of varied styles and flows. It's going to be 5 tracks. So obviously within those 5 tracks there'll be a lot of variety. It's just, and I I think it's harder for me to try and make music the same way over and over again than it is for me to just do something different on the next song, because it's like you never really feel the same all the time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. 100%.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? So there's no way you could constantly be writing the same thing all the time.
I think some of the artists
So
that we even like grew up on that had the best, like Tupac's probably the best example, because every album you had a flipping whole different emotion going on.
Exactly,
Do you know what I mean? So
exactly.
one album's about one thing, another album's about another. Then that was just authentic to his art. But then you got artists like Michael Jackson and even Madonna and that, and they just just as artists reinvent themselves for every album, don't they? You know, just switch it up completely, like Michael Jackson and Off the Wall to Thriller, two different you know what I'm saying? You have to constantly reinvent yourself. So I guess doing that as an artist must be good for you, because you can spend a lot of times on that personality, on them songs. And bring it out together.
It also it helps me to explore myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying before, sometimes I would write, and then when I'm like not even spitting it back, I'm reading it back, and I'm like, raw, like
it is cool that.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm actually finding out about myself, like, so I feel this way, or
didn't realize how smart you were sometimes. No, I'll be honest now. I look back at stuff that I did as a kid, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, is that what you were saying at that age? Come on, bro, give yourself some more props than you do already in the mirror.
Yeah, for real.
Also, as an MC, and obviously as someone that writes their own bars as well, I think like obviously a lot of MCs suffer from like writer's block. How do you get around that? You know, I've got no more bars to write
to start music.
Where do you look? Where do you go to? What is it?
When you get writer's block, for me, like there's no right or wrong way to address that problem. You just gotta sort of, it depends on the moment that you're in. Sometimes it's a case of you just gotta write through the stiffness. Like it's just like when you go gym and you ain't been in a while and your body's all stiff up, but then after you've done a few things and your blood's flowing, you're a bit warm and that, then it all comes back to you again. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes it gets like that, and then
good advice that to me.
But then there's other times where it's like, you know what, you need to walk away from it for a minute, let life happen, and
you've
just
injured yourself,
you know what I'm saying, just like, you know what I'm saying, take a break, like reset, come back with a fresh mind, and it might just all flow. So there's different ways to approach it.
Good advice. Obviously everyone reacts different to it when you get right. But some people get frustrated. But I think what you're saying there, sometimes you might not like the finished thing when you've done it yet, but do it and just put it to the side. Like you said, you might look back on it in a couple of years and think it weren't that bad. You know,
exactly.
So it's kind of like life, really, innit? Sometimes, you know, you get just obstacles coming your way. You gotta sit back. And
for real.
On with it,
and I've wrote a lot of bars where I've just looked at it and thought that's garbage, and then I've got like a lyric book. I don't always write in it, but
you use pen and paper, bro.
Sometimes. Do you know what? It's the artistry. Like, there's just something about writing on paper. I feel like I'm physically
you're damaging the nature and that.
No. Like, to be fair, it's like I just feel like I'm physically manifesting my thoughts onto paper. Like it's coming out into reality. But even sometimes I'll write it and I'm not liking it, and then I might be flicking through the pages and there's like a little 4-bar that's just like in the midst of that 16 that's rubbish. There's a 4-bar. It's just like amazing. Just pick it and give it a new home and stuff. So there's a lot to do you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a lot to gain from like just writing, even if you're feeling in a bad way, just doing it anyway. Like you never know, there might be a gem in there that you've overlooked and you won't realize it until maybe you're in a good space, you revisit it and then you realize, oh, that was pretty hard, and then he's got something new. You know what I mean? Like,
never give up, really, innit?
Basically,
stay with it, innit? Stay with
it. For real.
Well, we're gonna have to get into the cypher very, very soon.
Soon.
Let's try and peel as much info out of him as quick as we can. Innit? I want to know what's your plans for the future, innit? What's next up for us? Have you got an album coming out, or is it just the EP that we're looking forward to?
It's just the EP at the moment. There might be more than one project coming out next year. Nice. I'm not saying definitely, but that's something that I can see that happening. And got the shows coming up. I got the show on Boxing Day coming up, and
music videos.
Yes. There'll be a few. Obviously, there'll be a few to go with the EP. There'll be a few tracks in between, a few features in between that are just on a separate note. Nice. But yeah, like all will be revealed in good time. Next year's around the corner anyway. So do you know what I'm saying?
Before you plug all your socials, I don't know what I did there. Before you plug all your socials and that, brother. I want to ask you, like, is there anything besides music that you do, bro? Any poetry, any acting, anything, bro? You get me?
Actually, one thing that I just said, the last song you said you could have been an engineer. Was that what you talking about uni?
Yeah, that's where the scarf comes from. Man. The intellect is there, bro. Makes sense now, man.
No, it's just cold. Just a little bit cold, didn't it? I just want to give myself myself.
You ever got cold and wore a scarf, bro?
No, bro.
That's
I'm
how
not
much he
gonna lie.
thinks, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. You get me? He thinks it through, bro. Trust me, that's why he's an engineer. We get there and just give up, bro. You know what I'm saying?
No. Obviously, you got to find solution to the problem. But
bro, an engineer's a big thing, man. It's
yeah.
not-
I could have been
massive
as well.
respect
I
to
could
you.
have gone down like software engineering. So which I did do for a while. And that's where it just went a bit belly up for me. Do you know what I'm saying? It wasn't what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And then
You're
just
home now.
yeah, I
You're
feel a
home,
lot
bro.
more at home now. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just good to know that I could have done that if I wanted to, and
You can always go back to that stuff.
I
as
can
well,
I can always go back to that in some capacity
Stuff.
after I've done what I want to do with my life. But it's just good to know that avenue was there for me, because a lot of people say like music is all I have and all the rest of it. I'm not gonna say that's not the case for me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I will definitely make something of myself
You're
regardless.
in a lot of pies, innit?
Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's like I'm not.
Yes, it's good.
Like
bro.
if something don't work out for me, I'm not done. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
nah, I
I'll
like
keep
it, bro.
going. So I know I'm gonna hang up. I'm not gonna do music for the rest of my life. I'm gonna hang up the mic. But then my life
There's
is
another
still.
pro- there's another
do you know what I'm
plan,
saying?
innit,
My life is
after
gonna
that,
still keep going. So that means I still have something to do. Do you know what I mean? So I can never stop. But I just know that at least I knew I could have been an engineer. And and
It's
you know.
always good to have a plan B,
Nah, that's
innit?
a big
Yeah,
look,
for
man.
real.
It's a
Yeah,
big look.
I
Always
appreciate
good,
that,
man.
man. Appreciate
That's
it.
right.
Just before as well, one last thing, because obviously there's a lot of young people coming up in the music scene and things like that, and obviously with Manchester music getting bigger and bigger and bigger, obviously a lot more younger people will be looking up to the guys like you and guys that will be doing the cypher. So any messages for any young people coming up right now in the music scene?
Like obviously, if you first and foremost, you have to know what you're in it for. If you're, from what I believe anyway, if you're chasing like the fame and the money and stuff, then you should quit now, because you will get that. If that's what you're looking for, you'll get that. You'll get the money and fame, but it will come at the expense of your sanity, your peace of mind. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
real,
your independence and all of that. So, but if you're really in it because you have something to say, it's something that you feel in your bones that you're meant to do it, then yeah, just go for it. Make sure you know who you've got around you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Trust yourself. And full speed ahead, really.
Trust
Do you know
yourself.
what I'm saying?
I like that one. I reckon
innit?
that's the realest one, innit? You gotta have faith in what you're thinking, innit, brother?
Yeah, 100%, no doubt.
Yeah, man. I think we're getting ready for the cypher now.
Definitely,
innit?
man. Just let the people know where they can get hold of your socials and keep up to
Yeah,
date
so
with
you
your stuff.
can find me on Instagram. That's the number 1, David Rey. So that's David Rey. So it's 1 David Rey, and you can find me. That's on Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, Facebook.
Spotify, man.
Yeah,
Get
it's
him on there as
consistent,
well. That's
innit?
the
Just
best
one
one.
David
Yeah,
Rey.
bro,
That's
yeah, man.
the one and only.
Nice
I
one.
love for that interview,
Yo,
bro. Thank
blessings,
you very
brother.
much.
Thank
for
you
coming
very
in, bro.
much. Thank you very
It's been
much.
really intriguing talking to you, bro. And
Yes.
the opening question, the conversation. No, honestly, the whole information that we've got from you, everything that you've told us about yourself, your influences, it's been really good, bro. So it's
Yeah,
been a
no,
good
thank you for
interview, bro.
inviting me down, though,
thank
boys.
you.
I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate that,
Nice
bro.
one, bro. Love,
Blessings,
love, love,
blessings.
love.
Song ready for the
Yes.
then we
When you
get
get
into
a song
the
ready,
All
man.
Star Manchester Cypher. Yes.